Good morning, everyone. Hi, everyone. How are you? Welcome to 19th November. And we have reached Thursday. So, Friday, Saturday, the 2 days left. And then again, the weekend approaches for everyone. And what do we do on weekends? We practice questions, we do revision. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session. Do join. So, let's start with the thought for the day. I hope audio and video is clear to everyone. I hope audio and video is very much clear to everyone. Good morning, Parikshit. Good morning, everyone. Please, it's early in the morning that everybody can at least greet each other. So, good morning to everyone who is in the session, and good morning to you guys. And most importantly, start with your day with a full amount of energy. I know, even as a teacher and a student, we are continuously working. My job is to, enlighten with you with knowledge, and your job is to implement that knowledge in your examination. It's a two-way relationship. So let's greet each other and move forward. So with this wonderful thought, let's move for the thought for the day. So that is the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So most important thing is, good morning Riddhi, good morning Sashi. So most important thing is that the only way to greet is to love what you do, is to do great, not greet, is to great work, is to love what you do. That is a very important thing, right? If you're preparing for UPSC examination and you are doing this preparation because someone said that you should prepare for UPSC, or someone is said that you have it in you, but you don't believe, and you don't believe to become a civil servant. Similarly, it can go for other examinations also. It can go for UPSC, CDS examination, CAPF, or if you want to become a startup owner, or if you want to become a businessman. If your heart is not in that, if you don't enjoy your work, if you don't enjoy answer writing, if you don't enjoy this knowledge, then this journey will become very tough. So in this entire context, it is very, very important that you focus and start loving what you do. Either you fall in love, and if you're not able to fall in love, or if you're not able to appreciate what you do, the journey becomes very tough and it becomes mundane in nature. So that is why it is very important, that most important thing to do is that you need to love what you are doing, and the things will become very easy for every one of you. So with this lovely thought, let's move towards the important news. But before that, the OGP 2026 batch, the top batch for civil services preparation in the country, which you need to join. If you're already part of this batch, that is very great, but you can always recommend to your friends and relatives who wants to prepare for civil services. It would be starting on 2nd January 2025 under the guidance of Vinay sir, who is the founder and director of Insights IAS. It will cover GS, CSAT, SA, and rest of the details. You can also call on this number to get all the details, 80 69 40 5205, and you can also scan this QR code. And also remember, today is 19th December, 20th December is the last date, that is tomorrow, to claim this 10% extra discount. So you can get this discount. So this is one thing which I wanted to share with every one of you. So with this, let's move to the important news of today. First is positive signals emerge from India-China talks. So, yesterday, the special representative meeting is happening between Wang Yi is there, that's the foreign minister of China, and the on our side, national security advisor is there. So they are meeting, and a lot of discussions have happened, and a 6-point consensus or 6 pointers have been given by the China. So we'll talk about it. Positively, we are moving towards it, and we have covered yesterday that why does China want a very important relationship with India in the context of Donald Trump talking about tariff wars. So China is looking for a reliable partner, and that is why they are also trying to re-establish what they have lost in the last 4 years. All 17,130 police stations linked through CCTNS. So from a network centric point of view, that all criminal data would be at one place. It's a very important news for all law enforcement agencies. And this started in 2009, and by now 2024 it has been completed. Formulate policy to manage Sacred Grove Supreme Court tells government now sacred groves are very important from biological diversity, biodiversity point of view, and they are also very important from environment point of view, from ethnic culture point of view. So we'll also understand what are sacred groves, and then we'll understand what Supreme Court has said about it. Then Section 6A of the Citizenship Act, why it fails to Assam. Now Section 6A, if you remember, we had covered this news when Supreme Court was said that Section 6A is perfectly fine and we should go ahead with it. So this in editorial, it criticizes or it gives a critique that going ahead with Section 6A is basically questioning the culture and ethnicity of the or real or the original people of Assam, how they are losing their culture, and what is the effect on the local Assamese culture and language. So we'll try to decode in this particular editorial, and then we have standard Q&A, tidbits and extra while, which we do on everyday basis. So let's move towards the first important news. That is your positive signals emerge from India, China. This is your Ajit Doval, and that is your Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Okay, many times just for, you know, if you need to, even for, if you're writing an answer or you forgot his name, just remember the word Maggie, then it is very easily remember. You can easily remember him as Wang Yi, Maggie Wang Yi. I know it sounds funny, but this is just, you know, it's kind of a mnemonic, not exactly a mnemonic, but, you know, playing with the sounds and everything. So you can easily remember. So National Security Advisor and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held bilateral discussions and marking the first special representative boundary talk since 2019. So after 2019, no meeting happened because in 2020 Galwan happened and this special representative talks were stopped. Now from 2019, this meeting has happened in 2024. So many years have gone, more than 4 years have gone into this, and this also tells that so much has lost between India and China. So I am not saying that India should go ahead with everything, but it is very important to find a reliable partner. A very important statement came from America yesterday that that India puts a lot of tariffs on our goods and we would also be putting tariffs on their goods. And then Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister, said that where Trump is right or wherever we find that we are putting excessively, so we can work upon it. Obviously, wherever the problem is, that we'll work upon it and try to find a resolution. But I hope the voice is fine now. So wherever the resolution can be made, we'll try to find it. And this also says that India should also be having different multiple partners in case things with Donald Trump or the Trump administration goes vary or it goes wrong. It should not, but obviously having multiple partners in the terms of trade is very important. That if the one trade partner is becoming very, venomous in nature or becoming extreme in nature, you always need to have an option. And that is why the day we had that discussion on mineral resources, India is going all over the world to find from whichever country we can resource or we can find mineral resources for our own growth. Specifically because most of these mineral resources or the semiconductor basic parts or semiconductors, germanium and everything is coming from China. So if China tomorrow says that we will not give to India similarly what they have done to America, so we need to find resources. Similarly, if America for God's sake goes against India, so we need to have a good relationship with China, and we are not straight away going ahead. We are very cautiously optimistic about China. Even in this meeting, the focus was on mutual trust and cooperation and slowly and steadily moving ahead. So both sides emphasized on maintaining peace and tranquility along the LAC and the talks on disengagement, de-induction, and so on and so forth. So both sides positively affirmed the implementation of October 2024 disengagement agreement has happened. Next would be de-escalation and third would be de-induction. And you should get to know that more than 50,000 to 60,000 troops of both sides have been deployed at this place. This is a huge cost to the exchequer, be it the Western Theatre Command of China, which is looking towards this entire area, and from our side, Army and the other CAPF units, whichever are deployed, but mainly the Indian Army is deployed at this area when I'm talking about Galwan. And 60,000 troops, the cost is very high and there are other costs, and overall these 60,000 troops can be deployed on other areas which might be more important, like say the terrorism is increasing a lot in Jammu and the huge amount of troops are needed in Jammu to fight what is coming from Pakistan sponsored terrorism. So if it reduces, we can push certain bits of troops out there also. Further discussions included resumption of Kailash Mansarovar pilgrimage from India to Tibet, data sharing on trans-border rivers, and border trade exchanges. So again, slowly and steadily, we are coming back on track. And I personally feel we need to be cautiously optimistic, but China on our side is always a great advantage to us. And today, China is not that strong what it was in 2017 or 18. Plus, Donald Trump will keep China in check. And China is more eager to have friendship with India than India wants to have with China. Indian economy currently is in good shape compared to China. I'm not talking about, in the terms of the current GDP numbers which came, but we are still much better because their economy is struggling a lot. Obviously, they have deep pockets, but economically, we are still on the right track. The problem with China is that real estate is coming down. Domestic consumption has also reduced. They will not be achieving their targets, and China is a rising country in the terms of manufacturing, and they are struggling. Plus, the tariff wars with America is coming. On the other side, India is also there, but we don't have tariff wars. We can resolve our relationship with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump and Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, have very decent terms. We have already spoken a lot about this in Daily Decodes earlier. Namaskar, Namaskar, District Collector. Okay. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs reported a 6-point consensus. So this was a 6-point consensus which was spoken about, and we are working on it. I think in the coming months, more and more bonhomie will happen. Next meeting is expected, that will happen next year, and it will happen in New Delhi. So aimed at maintaining peace at the border and strengthening bilateral relationships. So resumption of special representative talks was in 2003 to resolve the India-China boundary dispute, reviving paused diplomatic mechanism. There was, if you remember, External Affairs Minister and Wang Yi, they had met in Rio de Janeiro when the G20 summit was happening. At that time, there was a talk of visas and direct flights. Okay, direct flights and media exchanges. The discussions did not include the resumption of direct flights or journalist exchanges this time when the special representative meeting happened, but over a period of time, I think this will also come and start being getting implemented, similar to what is happening in Kailash Mansarovar and border disputes and everything. And National Security Advisor also met Chinese Vice President Han Zheng. So Vice President, Foreign Minister. So a very important meeting, and definitely the messages which should go to Xi Jinping and the messages from India must have also been passed to China. And the other part is that meeting the Vice President. So the Vice President Han Zheng said that, India and China, we are very old civilizations. We are very old culture. Yes, sir, we totally believe in that. We are the first ones to say this. If you remember, Jawaharlal Nehru used to talk about Hindi Chini bhai bhai, but we got 1962 war in that. If you talk about this civilization, then you need to walk the talk. What you need to do is walk the talk. Like what you say, you have to implement it on the ground. That yes, we believe in it, you implement it, right? India is ready to implement. We were trying in 2018, Modi going to Wuhan and Xi Jinping coming to Bamlapuram, but exactly what did we get? 2020 Galwan. That's wrong, right? So when you talk about this civilization, emerging global orders, we are all for it. We are all for economic, trade and cultural areas, but most important thing is that India and China, and you combine Russia, we can be the game changers of the entire world economy. And let's not take Russia right now, let's only take India and China. If these both countries come together, we can be the kings, or the leading kings or leading powers when it comes to this. China is already a leading power, but the intentions of China are very different from what they say. So that is the problem with China is. So if China really walks the talks it is doing, things can really improve between India and China, and that would be told by the time to come. I would also like to take your viewpoint that do you think we can trust China? What is your thought process? What is your thought process? Give 1 or 2 lines that do you think it really matters, or we can trust China, or it's very difficult to trust them. Give me your opinion on this. Okay, so next important news is all 17,130 police stations in the country linked through the centralized online platform CCTNS, that is Crime and Criminal Tracking Network System. So what we used to see in those Hollywood movies, that tracking systems and everything is there, data is available in computer about a criminal or some case. This is a similar system India has developed and we have implemented. So Parikshit has given, however, India should stay strong and handle China's tricks and smart moves and clear focus. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, the statement which has been given by Parikshit. So the crime and criminal tracking network system, which was launched in 2009, finally after 15 years we have been able to implement it properly, and now every police station, or these more than 17,000 police stations have been connected. So with a budget of 2,000 crore has successfully linked all 17,130 police stations across India. Now just remember, this happened in their previous regime. So I've always maintained that the current regime or the current dispensation is doing good work, or they might be doing some, work which can be, I beg your pardon for that. So the current dispensation may be doing something which cannot be justified or which can be questionable. But similarly, the previous dispensation also has done very good amount of work over the years. So we should always appreciate when the good work is done, whichever government has done. So this was started during the UPA government, a very important step. And the second important step is that the governments which came after it, like the NDA government came in 14, and the scheme had been continued. And today the entire country would be reaping the result of it or the fruit of it. So all 17,130 police station across India, the platform facilitates online filing of FIR, charge sheets and investigation reports. Now this really helps the law enforcement agencies, that someone is in Tamil Nadu, or he is in Jammu or Kashmir, or he is in Manipur, or he is in Gujarat, or he is in Odisha or Mumbai, that authorities nationwide now can use these facilities, online filing of FIR, charge sheets, investigation reports. And some days back, you remember that we had discussed that Chandigarh, the case of Chandigarh, we were discussing that they have implemented the 3 new laws. We were talking about zero FIR, that you can launch zero FIR from any police station. Okay. So in that context, this is very important that CCTNS system, this crime and criminal tracking network and system, this is very important connecting, because in this global age, this all data which is being collected, and if you implement big data analytics or AI with it, it will also start and fetching you data where the crime is high, what kind of crimes are high, what kind of criminals are there, and who are habitual offenders. All this kind of data can come to you, and all these habitual offenders, if the AI can also help you what kind of connection they are trying to create, or for that matter their recruitment and everything, that can also help eventually us in fighting organized crime. So the last phase connected to approximately 40 police stations in states like Manipur, see extreme corners, Nagaland, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Lakshadweep and Odisha. So this has been done within the past 3 months. These 40 stations were connected. System now achieved 100% deployment across 28 states and 8 unions territories. So this 100% deployment has been completed in 28 states and 8 units. So finally it took time, but it has been connected, and most importantly the governments continued it, and this would be really helping the law enforcement agencies also. So in this context, what are the key features of CCTNS? Obviously it has a comprehensive data, but what kind of data and record? Accused and charge sheeted person, who is accused, charge sheeted person, so it's very easy for law enforcement agencies to get data. Convicts, habitual offenders who are continuously offending, so that data is very important. And most importantly, sometimes for a new case you need to go back to a previous case if a similar kind of criminal thought process was there to commit that crime. And proclaimed offenders, details on missing person, like certain times we are able to find somebody or we need the details of a missing person, unidentified bodies and stolen vehicles, because sometimes these stolen vehicles are also used for terror attacks or later for some criminal purposes. Now in that case, this vehicle, who it belonged to, or this vehicle was stolen from where, becomes very important. And if continuously stolen vehicles are being stolen from A part or B part, it also gives a data that this is the area which is it being stolen. Then we can also study what are the reasons behind it. Enables analytical reporting. This is very important. Whenever the word analytical comes, I'm very happy about it. UPSC is also very happy about it. And obviously artificial intelligence also talks about analytics. Okay, so enables analytical reporting on criminal cases. So you get the reporting, the kinds of criminal cases and the modus operandi. Property disputes, crime statistics, very important, from which state crime is increasing, or which city the crime is increasing, what might be the reasons for it. For example, say out of so many states, if the crime is increasing specifically in 3 states, and in these 3 states, in these particular 3 districts, and these 3 particular districts, these 5 to 10 cities, then you can focus on these 5 to 10 studies, study them, study their modus operandi, and cull them, or basically eliminate those kind of criminal acts. So statistics are also very important. All this data would be available at police station level. It is not at headquarters level. It would be available at police station level, and that is really very good. Okay, and it also been integrated with the new criminal law. So 23 functional modalities were changed. So these are implemented with Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita replacing IPC 1860. Please remember, that this match the following question can also come, in which they are asking about the new laws and which it replacing. So Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita replacing IPC 1860, Bharatiya Sakshay Adhiniyam replacing Evidence Act 1872, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita replacing CRPC 1898. Please go through it again and again, so that you know these 3 facts are in your mind. And what are the major changes which has come in the system? Now, senior officer permission would be necessary for certain arrests. Informing relatives, designated officers, displaying arrest details would be important. Daily diary reports sent to magistrates would be done. Forensic investigation is mandated for punishment exceeding 7 years. Videography of crime scene and collection of biological samples. Victim updates on investigation progress is also focused. New timelines and provisions for summons and evidence would also be focused on. So these are the major changes which has happened because of the acts, and this is how your CCTNS system will be working. So enhanced scope, obviously because of the CCTNS system, it increases your it increases the components of criminal justice system, and also integrates with ICJS, that is integrated criminal justice system, and that will focus on components of police data with courts, prisons, prosecution department, forensic laboratories, and fingerprints database. So overall a cohesive system is being created, where the CCTNS and its integration with ICJS, the integrated criminal justice system. So the courts and everyone, they can also use this data, and eventually more cohesiveness will come, specifically in law and order and the implementation of it. Okay. So before I move forward, so 6th January 2025, integrated GS and CSAT program is starting. This is for prelims, okay, prelims 2025. And all these things would be covered in this. For all details, you can also scan the QR code and also call on the number which I had shared earlier. And the Sudeep sir and Aditya sir would be there in this program, which would be helping you through the course. Okay, next important news is related to formulate policy to manage sacred groves, Supreme Court tells government. So let's continue. Okay, let's continue with this news. Now, sacred groves are very important. These are sacred groves. So, for example, if you go in jungles, or if you've seen that movie Kantara, okay, if you've seen the movie Kantara or Kantara, that also you can find those jungles and everything, which are when the king goes into the jungle, and there is a puja which is happening, and all those trees and everything are there. Those are your sacred groves. Okay, these are your sacred groves. From the point of view of culture, they are very important. From the point of view of biodiversity, they are very important. See, sacred groves. Okay, these are all your sacred groves. Very important. So Supreme Court has asked the government of India to do a very important thing. We'll come to that. But first of all, what is sacred groves? They are patches of tree traditionally protected by local communities. So they would be doing puja of it, and on day-to-day basis, or whenever they want to do, for their religious and cultural significance, these trees become very important. They become part of their culture, and on the other side they play a key role in biodiversity conservation. For example, if you go to in today's urban environment, you must have seen that people, they worship people tree also, okay, people tree and other trees. Similarly, that's a more, it happens in villages and other areas also, but since villages and other countryside of the area where you can find these jungles and everything, more of this puja and everything happens of sacred groves, because in urban area hardly any sacred groves are there, because they have been either destroyed, or they, because for the infrastructure, and they have been culled. So they play a key role in biodiversity conservation, serving as a habitats of various species of flora and fauna. It plays a crucial role in social conservation in preventing soil erosion, which maintains soil fertility. So for soil conservation, soil fertility, very important, these sacred groves. Groves are commonly found in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Western Ghats. So this is the major region: Western Ghats, Himalayas, Northeastern and Central Hill Tracts. And the petition which has been put for sacred groves has been put from the side of Rajasthan, that Rajasthan is losing. So Rajasthan also has these sacred groves. So what has happened is that a petition highlighted the issue of vanishing sacred groves in Rajasthan. So this petition went to Supreme Court. Now, since we have covered what is sacred groves and you've seen the photo, I think it's very easy to understand the news also. And that is why I gave you the example of Kantara and all those jungles, so that you can relate, okay, that is what Sir is talking about. So the petition highlighted the vanishing sacred groves in Rajasthan. It went to Supreme Court. So the special bench of the Supreme Court has said to the Environment Ministry to develop a comprehensive national policy for the management of sacred groves. Very important. Sacred groves are important not only from religion, cultural, but from the point of view of biodiversity, soil conservation, soil erosion. So they are very, very important. And most importantly, they are all organic in nature. So this also tells, if we go back in our ancient history parts, because these sacred groves has been part of Indian culture time immemorial. So our ancestors, or they were very much concerned about environment. So when Prime Minister talks about that, India has been very much concerned about environment from time immemorial, from our acharyas to gurus and everyone. And in ancient India, they always used to talk about environment, how important is environment, how important is trees and everything in biodiversity. And hence today you can see the point of view of sacred groves also. So comprehensive national policy for the management of sacred groves has been desired by Supreme Court, and it is asking the Union Ministry of Environment to implement this policy, or to come up with a policy. Policy should align with the cultural and traditional rights while ensuring biodiversity conservation. So three important points: biodiversity conservation, cultural and traditional rights. So cultural rights, traditional rights and biodiversity conservation. So this is the major news which is coming from here. And the National Survey of Sacred Groves. So Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change was tasked with conducting a nationwide survey to identify where are these sacred groves, clearly marking the boundaries, that you need to mark the boundaries from where it starts, where it ends about these sacred groves, while allowing flexibility for future growth, that also giving them more area. Say you have marked it from A to B, but tomorrow if they are growing towards C, certain area can be given to them for their growth also. Formulating guidelines to prevent reduction of groves, that sometimes because of development versus environment debate, or because of infrastructure needs, many of these sacred groves are removed. So we need to formulate guidelines so that they can be preserved. So legislative context: Wildlife Protection Act 1972 says it empowers the state to declare our community lands as community reserves for flora, fauna and cultural conservation. So again, community reserves for flora and fauna are important. As per this act, the National Forest Policy of 1988 encourages community to participate in improvement and preservation of forest. So preservation of forest is very important as per your National Forest Policy of 1988, and Wildlife Protection Act talks about community reserves. So both are very important in the context of the policy which is being asked by the Supreme Court. Okay. So community driven success. So there's a wonderful story of Piplantari village in Rajasthan, where community driven initiative has made a barren land back to transformed into lush green groves. And the special bench and Justice Mehta said that if the community come together, or cohesiveness of the community can come together, this shows that environment challenges can be addressed cohesively. Social, ecological and environment challenges. See, if you can convert a barren land back to your lush green groups, anything can happen. This happens when people come together for progress, and if there is a policy and people with the help of state administration and central administration, many things can be changed. And this happened in Rajasthan. Okay, so if this can happen in Rajasthan, which is, we have Thar desert on that side, so if this can happen in Rajasthan, it can happen in many other areas, and this is an example which the Supreme Court also took. So sacred groves have immense ecological value. We've already done that. They should be recognized and protected as a community reserve to prevent unauthorized and use changes. So no other unauthorized access, no unauthorized destruction of these sacred groves. They are important for soil conservation, soil fertility, biological diversity, cultural, traditional, and ethical rights. They are, ethnicity rights. They are very important from the context of culture and tradition to biodiversity. Very important. So that is why Supreme Court is telling and asking the government, please create a policy so that these sacred groves are not destroyed and the biodiversity regarding that is maintained. So let's come to an important question. Sacred groves plays a key role in biodiversity conservation. Yes, these groves are commonly found in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka and Maharashtra. Correct. Sacred groves have both ecological and cultural significance. Absolutely correct. All the statements are correct. The answer to this question is D. Okay. So this is a UPSC mains question. You can go through this also. Now let's move to today's editorial. Wonderful editorial has come. Section 6A of Citizenship Act, why it fails Assam. Okay, so we'll talk about this. We had covered this earlier also. Okay. Good morning, dear sir. I'm first lecture. Okay. You will get the habit of it. I know, I can understand. If there is something which you want me to repeat, I'll definitely tell you, Monica Sahare. Don't worry, please let me know if you are stuck somewhere. I'll repeat that for you. Today I am actually thinking that I am slow today. I'm actually slow. But anyways, do tell me, what do you want me to reiterate? Don't you think I'm slow today? Same. Okay, same. Probably I am thinking I'm slow, but I'm not. Okay. So anyways, if you've got stuck somewhere, let me know. I'll explain if you want to know. We have covered the use of sacred groves. We also covered the news of Indochina right now. And I think one more news we have covered. So if you want me to repeat that, I'll definitely repeat that. Don't worry about it. So Section 6A of Citizenship Act. Now, the what happened in Supreme Court, that when around the time when Chandrachud sir was retiring, multiple this Supreme Court and polity related news was coming. At that time, in October 2024, important decision came from Supreme Court, and they said that Section 6A of the Citizenship Act, Section 6A of the Citizenship Act is constitutional. Validity was done yes about it with a 4:1 majority. Was being done, one being the dissenting view, and the 4 agreed with the Section 6A. So it's basically, what is Section 6A of the Citizenship Act, which we need to understand, that there is a date called March 25th, 1971. This is the important date. March 25th, 1971. So if you were a Bangladeshi migrant and you have entered before this date, because of the constitutional validity of this act, that is Section 6A of Citizenship Act, and if you have entered before this date, then you become a citizen of India. That's the basic thing, and that Supreme Court said that the validity of act is there. It basically said that if you're entering before March 25th, 1971, and prior to this, so there was also a thing that you need to stay in Assam and all this area for 10 years, and then you can claim your citizenship. So this was done. Now Supreme Court said that this was a very important event, and that is why it is being done. And it also said that it did not affect the culture and ethnicity or the language of Assam. But that's not the truth, because research says otherwise, that lot of things have changed in Assam. So this particular editorial discusses what is the problem, and we are trying to find that. Okay. So the provision grants Indian citizenship to migrants from former East Pakistan, that is Bangladesh, because after 1971, that is 16 December 1971, Bangladesh is created. So we celebrated the, that liberation of day and everything on 16 December. Also, we had discussed what happened on that day. So who settled Assam before March 25th, 1971. Now, judgment emphasized need to address the concern of Assam population by allowing citizen to specific migrants. So Supreme Court said that this date was very important and a lot of things were happening at this point of time, and whoever entered, so they were saying that these people were also important and Assam's culture is very important. But the decision which came out, it is not justified to the Assamese people. That is what majorly this editorial is talking about. So Section 6A was introduced following the 1985 Assam Accord. Okay, so it spoke about cultural preservation in Assam, and most importantly, see, every state has limited resources. For example, in a state, if there are, say, 10,000 kgs of rice and there are 10,000 people, say everyone gets 1 kg. But suddenly, out of this 10,000 people, there is an influx of 1 lakh migrants or illegal migrants, but the rice capacity is still 10,000. Now what will happen is that the local population and the illegal migrants, they can start fighting about these resources. First problem, so there would be fight over the economic resources. Now any social schemes which is being implemented, you will now need to shed more money. So states with the minimum resources now would be catering to lot of illegal or lot of those migrants which never belong to that particular state. So this can also create chaos in the state. First. Second important problem is that if this population keeps on increasing, they will also try to change the polity, or for that matter in the legislative assembly, number of representatives from the larger amount of community which has come, they can get their members, and the entire system or entire how that state function, its economy, its culture, its language, everything can get changed, because now a community which came from outside, which never belonged to state, it is changing it because their members might be in the power. So these are the problem which comes, and this is also which can happen in many other states. So economic and political strain caused by large scale migration, this is exactly what I am talking about. And political strain, political how all these, if the number of these people are increasing, they will try to choose a political member which is favoring them. Like for example, the example is in Canada, where this Hardeep Singh Nijjar, not Hardeep Singh, Jagmeet Singh's party, NDP, New Democratic Party, has come. Now this party is a supporter of Khalistanis, and now their number is increasing. So might be Canada, get created in, might be Khalistan can get created in Canada. It is not getting created in India because their population is increasing in Canada. So this is what happened when the illegal migration happened. Similarly, today you are seeing that Europe is talking about that all those Syrian militants, Syrian illegal immigrants which were taken as legal migrants, now the Europe is talking about please go back to Syria, because state has limited resources. So that's the problem which comes. Okay. So in this context, these are three important dates. Before 1st January 1966, migrants granted Indian citizenship if you came from 1966. That is 1st January 1966. Now from 1st January 1966 to 25th March 1971, if you have come between this period, then you need to stay 10 years in Assam. You need to get 10 years of, you need to have stayed for 10 years of residence and then can apply for citizenship. After 25th March 1971, if you have come, then you will be subject to detection and deportation. So March 25th, 1971 is the most important date. Problem is that this date is still relevant after more than 40 years and we are still talking about it. That's the problem. Okay. So now once we have gone through all these facts and numbers, I hope what you are getting. So the contradictory reasoning is that court highlighted magnitude of migrant influx in Assam, its potential impact on cultural and political rights under Article 14. So court is talking about, okay, all these people are coming and it is affecting the cultural rights of Assam. At the same time saying, okay, whoever came from, between 1966 and this 1971 date of 25th March, they are allowed. So if you have allowed them, they are the people who actually, because of that, the entire culture and socio-economic changes have come. But Supreme Court is saying because of these people came, no changes happened. That is where the contradiction is majorly lying. Monica, what you can do is that when this lecture is over, you can put the speed at 0.5x or 0.75x. The speed will reduce. And I hope that, you're comfortable with the English language, because mostly you're typing the comments in Hindi. So if you can reduce the speed, if the language is becoming a barrier, I hope that that is not a barrier. So you can reduce a bit of speed once the lecture is over, and then complete the lecture. It will really help you. And after the lecture, you will also get the PDF. You can download it, and with the PDF also you can watch the lecture. PDF gets uploaded after 2 to 3 hours. And if you continuously watch for 2 to 3 days, I'm really telling you, it will help you a lot. Every day we are covering very important news, Monica. Okay, so however, it also held that the influx of not affect the language. Now, this Supreme Court said that language, script, culture of the Assamese people did not get affect. Same time they are saying magnitude of migrant influx in Assam, its potential impact local culture and political rights. Are you getting what Supreme Court is saying? The Supreme Court is saying that this influx came and it is affecting. At the same time, it is also saying that the language, script, culture of the Assamese people did not get affected. So it's saying the people who came after 25th March, they were affecting it, but probably the people who came before 25th March, they were not affecting it. That is where the major contradiction lies. That how is that after that it is, after 25th March 1971 it is affecting, but prior to that it is not affecting. Are you understanding? Because it is the same amount of illegal migrants which are coming from Bangladesh, right? So this is the major problem which is coming. And Article 29 says protect the cultural and linguistic identity of citizens. And here we are talking about Assamese citizens. The focus of the court should be Indian citizen rather than the illegal migrants. Obviously, this decision is coming in 2024, and people who came from 1966 to this 1971 day, 25th March, huge amount of time has passed and they have become part of the Assam and culture. But the problem is that number of people speaking Assamese have reduced and number of people speaking Bengali has increased in Assam. So that is the problem which is happening. And then the Supreme Court saying that no changes have come. And this is not me saying, this is a research saying. So demographic changes caused by migration erode the ability of Assam people to preserve their identity. Obviously, if there are 100 Assamese people in a particular area, and suddenly if there are 500 influx of Bengali people from Bangladesh or whichever place they come from, for example, 500 Rohingyas come and 100 people, obviously the majority is Rohingyas would be increasing, or for that matter Bangladeshis, if they are coming for huge numbers, so they will start dominating the area. This is what it is talking about. Research cited decline in Assamese speaking population. So Assamese speaking population has decreased and increase in Bengali speaking migrants. So if Supreme Court is correct that nothing has changed, how is this data coming? It's not that Assamese people stopped speaking Assamese and they started adopting Bengali, but this is really happening. So that means, that is why this entire justification of valid constitutional validity of Section 6A of Constitutional Citizenship Amendment Act is being questioned. Okay. Okay. So, Monica, let me just complete this lecture and then I will answer your question. Okay. Increase in Bengali speaking migrants, pointing cultural displacement. Okay. So, cultural displacement, do you understand? The culture of Assamese being replaced by culture of Bangladeshi Bengalis. Okay. So, say this is happening in Assam. And similarly, this is a problem which can happen any place if the population of A state or A place start going to B place and then they start dominating the B place. And Assam, there are multiple examples all over the world about it. Okay. So even the rise of right wing which is happening in Europe or for that matter in America, one of the reason is this illegal immigrants and local population losing jobs. This is happening in Canada also. This is happening in Europe also. Germany was the first one to invite Syrian migrants, and see where is Germany economy going today. So lack of temporal limits render the law ineffective. Section 6A remains operation even 40 years after the cutoff date, and that is highly questionable. Okay. So mechanism under Section 6A 3 places 6A clause 3 places burden of initiating proceeding on the state. There is no provision for voluntary self-identification and foreign tribunals which need to find out that who is illegal and legal. This is the current condition. Backlog of cases are there and lacks clear guidelines. So these foreign tribunals don't have clear guidelines or clear date guidelines. And second, backlog of cases. So this has also become like our court, which is, you know, more than 5 crore cases are pending there, and this is it, what is going on. And so the lower judiciary or for the higher judiciary or Supreme Court, they are pending with cases, and same is the problem out here also. Okay, constitutional and social implication. So the judgment overlooks the linguistic and cultural erosion caused by unchecked migration in Assam. Absolutely correct. Do you agree with this? It is happening, right? If the people speaking Assamese in Assam are reducing, obviously this is happening. Once the language goes, then almost 50 to 60% or more than that, your culture goes. Because we try, for example, say I speak Hindi. Currently, I'm in Bangalore, and people in Karnataka speak Kannada. Now, the language and culture goes very much in tandem together. And we in India, from even in 2 kilometers or 10 kilometers, the accent also changes, and which becomes a very important part of our livelihood and how we think and speak and everything. So in this context, there is a huge problem of cultural erosion. It perpetuates outdated policies, fail to address current realities, the current realities of Article 14, Article 29, to preserve culture and culture of the Assamese people. Obviously, it's good that you're focusing on those illegal migrants which came, but at the same time, we also need to think about what happened with the Assamese population and their resources, everything in their state. So in conclusion, Supreme Court ruling upholding 6A critically need to be evaluated its constitutional validity. Maybe, in future that can be done. Okay. And by neglecting temporal and demographic realities, the judgment risk exacerbating. That is, exacerbating means that if we do not look into this, this will eventually start increasing more problem. We're already seeing what is happening in Bangladesh, what is happening in Myanmar between military junta and rebels, and similarly in Bangladesh. We should make sure that nothing of this sort happens in Assam, and we are already seeing the burning Manipur where Metis and Kukis are fighting. So cultural preservation is very important. This is a very important question from the point of view of UPSC mains. Please go through it. And on the tidbits, the legendary spinner of the Indian cricket team, Ashwin, has taken retirement. It's all over the news. So just wanted to share with all the people who follow sports, and even if you don't follow sports, you should definitely know Ashwin, very important. So Ashwin, India's spin wizard, calls it a day, and he has a stupendous career, and he has been able to achieve, and one of the most important legends of the game, I should say. In the extra mile today, we have what did the US Congress report on the COVID origin say? So what did US Congress congressional report on COVID says? So it's a very important report, talks about what happened in China and everything. So ICANN 2.0, these are the lectures which come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30 a.m. It is uploaded on Insights channel only. So you can watch this. They are being made under the guidance of Sapna ma'am. And most important thing, we are also starting a new podcast series. It's called Beyond the Headlines, which would be soon coming on the channel. I think the first video should release on Friday. First topic we'll talk about is nepotism with Vinay sir. It's coming with Vinay sir, and he'll guide you for everything what is happening in the society from the point of view from a general person to a UPSC aspirant, and the answers which can help you for your examination. And also, as an aware citizen, you need to be aware about it. So aware citizen, you need to know about it. So that would be starting soon. And thank you very much. I hope you did enjoy it. So some comments have come. Let me just answer them. Sir, in Mangalore side, the good naga with trees, so they'll be protecting the surrounding tree. No people will try to. Obviously, Pariksha, that is example of sacred groves. Similar things I've seen in north also. When I go to my place and everywhere, in villages also you see, sir, mera basic week hai, kaise start karu? Monica, for example, if your basic is weak, you can start with your basic NCRTs, and you can also start with basic reading of the newspaper. So if you start reading the newspaper, for example, start giving 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, you will understand. For example, if there's a term which is coming in a newspaper and you don't understand it, you can Google it or to understand it. For example, say disengagement. There's a word disengagement in India and China. You don't know what is disengagement, so you can put disengagement UPSC. You will start getting something to get to answer. Or you can follow this news analysis on daily basis. I'm telling you, the magic will happens once you start following for 6 or 7 days. You will start understanding. Initially, it is difficult. But after 3, 4, 5 days, Monica, you will start understanding everything, and it will become very easy for you to comprehend everything. Okay, and the PDF which is given, PDF gets uploaded after 2 or 3 hours. Once you download and read it and then you watch the session, then also it would be very helpful to you. So I hope that I've been able to answer, and if you have any other query, you can put in the comment section later and I'll try to answer it. And thank you very much for everyone. If you have any suggestions, please do give us suggestions and do share this session. Guys, one thing which I'm asking is please do share the session, like the session, press the bell icon, and do download the PDF, go through the PDF, and all the best for today. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.